Hi, dear students. Welcome to the today's class. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we have completed two chapters. Today, we are again moving on to the next chapter in the political section, the second unit number second, that is Indian foreign policy. In this chapter, we mainly study about nature of Indian foreign policy, basic aspect of Indian foreign policy, in that Panchashila principle, non-aligned movement, disarmament, anti-apparatus policy, and anti-imperialism. These are the main important learning points which we learn in this chapter. So, dear students, let us study briefly about our Indian foreign policy. Dear students, come on, let us study what is Indian foreign policy. Before going to about detailed information about Indian's foreign policy, first we have to know that what is Indian foreign policy. A foreign policy is a policy adopted by the nation to regulate its interaction with other country. What is foreign policy? It is a policy which is adopted by a nation to regulate its interaction with other countries. I hope that all have understood that foreign policy is nothing but it is one kind of policy which is termed to meant for regulate our interactions or our needy things with the other country to keep a good cooperation with the other country. Hence, every country needs to have a foreign policy to regulate its interaction with other countries. As we all know that we need our own foreign policy because to interact with the other country. Our country, India, cannot live oneself. It also need to interact with other countries, right? For example, it's need to interact with China, Pakistan to maintain a cordial relationship and good relationship, and also for the better development of our country. Out of 200 countries in the world, very few countries are strong and most of them are weak. According to the expert, every sovereign country has its own foreign policy. The sovereign country means a country which is not under any other country's control, which means before pre-independent, India was a anti-imperial country, which means it was under British rule. Yeah, India was under the British rule. At the time, India does not had its own rules and regulation to maintain its country. It does nothing. When India became independent, it formed its own constitution and formed its own rules and regulation, and it also adapted its own foreign policy without depending on every country or another country. A sovereign country is the country which is not under any other country's control either for internal or external issue. It is an important point to be noted that India has its own foreign policy. India has been considered as one of the major countries of the world with its huge population, natural resources, military, industrialized capacity. India is one of the few countries in the world which pursue their own foreign policy. India has been considered as one of the major countries. Why? Why India is considered as the one of the major country? The reason for this is because of its huge population. As we all know that there are crores of many people who are living in country. So because of its huge population and natural resources. As we all know that India is abundantly flourished with more and more of natural resources, military, intellectual and industrial capacity. Because of all this reason, India can call be as or it can tend to a list which be called as India can be called as a huge country because of the reasons of huge population, natural resources, military, intellectual and industrialized capacity. Because of all this reason, India has been called as major country or the huge country. India became a republic in 1947. As we all know that India became republic in 1947. As an independent country, India wants peaceful coexistence with other countries of the world. As we all know that India is a been peace loving country. It always strive to be avoid wars, negotiations. It always tries to maintain peace relationship with other countries. But other countries they won't care for peace. As we recently saw that in Nepal border attacks, they who have killed our 20 soldier brothers. So India always tried to maintain what? Peace. Here we come to know that what is foreign policy. So come dear students, let us discuss what are the major aims of a foreign policy one by one. Once again I am repeating the definition of what is foreign policy. It is a policy adopted by the nation to regulate its interaction with other country. It's a policy regulated by the nation to regulate adopted by the nation to regulate its interaction with other country. Hope all have understood. Moving to the major aims of Indian foreign policy. First one, national security. Second one, enriching national economic. Third one, spreading cultural richness of our country in other countries. Fourth one, by increasing the number of friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries. Fifth one, achieving world peace and coexistence. These are the major aims of our Indian foreign policy. The first one is national security, which means that every nation is recorded by its security. For our country protection, we have well equipped Indian armies, navy forces, etc. Second one, enriching national economic, which means cultivating the national richness. Third one, spreading the cultural richness of our country in other countries, which means India has its own tradition. We need to spread the rich heritage or rich prestige of our India in other countries in the form of cultural, folks, food, etc. Fourth one, by increasing the number of friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries. We need to have a cordial and friendly relationship with each and every country. For example, we need to have a good relationship between Pakistan, China, and all our neighboring countries as our neighbors, and we should have a good relationship with them. Then only we can sustain a peaceful life in this world. Fifth one, achieving world peace and coexistence. Achieving world peace and coexistence seems to be the most important one. India always strives to have a peace and cordial relationship, but other nations like China, Pakistan, they always wage a war and also tries to destroy the peace of India. But India always maintain a world peace and coexistence. These are the major aims of Indian foreign policy. Please focus on this, children. These are the very important and repeated questions for the examination purpose. First one, national security, enriching national economic, spreading the cultural richness of our country in other countries by increasing the number friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries, achieving world peace and coexistence. Hope that all have understood the major aims of Indian foreign policy. Moving to the next, we all know that Jawaharlal Nehru ji is our first Prime Minister of India. He is the one important guy. He formed an Indian foreign policy. He is the innovator of our Indian foreign policy. In radio speech on September 7, 1946, Nehru ji outlined the foreign policy of India for the first time to the general public. When he drafted the foreign policy on September 7, 1947, in a radio speech, the speech gave an indication of foreign relationship India is going to foster with other countries. In the speech, he told that the India would promise to have good relationship with other countries such as America, Russia, and China. As I already told that India have promised to have a good relationship with America, Russia, and other neighboring countries, and it still follow its promise what it had kept in the past. Nehru ji managed the foreign policy of India as an external affair minister apart from being the prime minister as well. Hence, many times Indian foreign policy is also called Nehru's foreign policy. Why India's foreign policy is also called Nehru's foreign policy? Because during the time when the foreign policy was adapted, Nehru ji was the prime minister of India. In that, even though he was a prime minister, he tried to manage our Indian foreign policy and gave a potential shape to our Indian foreign policy. Because of this reason, Indian foreign policy is called as Nehru's foreign policy. I hope that you got my point. Various international and national issues have influenced the foreign policy of India. Issues like national interest, geographical interest, political situation, economic interest, military issues, public opinion, and many other issues have influenced and shaped Indian foreign policy. On what basic aspect Indian foreign policy have been shaped? It is mainly shaped on political situation, economic interest, military issues, public opinion, and so on. Dear students, yet we have finished what is foreign policy, what are the main aims of Indian foreign policy. Now we are moving on. Now we are moving on to the next concept of this lesson, that is basic aspect of Indian foreign policy. Our Indian foreign policy contain five aspects. First one, Panchashila principles. Second one, non-aligned movement. Third one, anti-imperialism. Fourth one, anti-apartheid policy. Fifth one, disarmament. Indian foreign policy, aspects of Indian foreign policy are Panchashila principle, non-aligned movement, anti-imperialism, anti-apartheid, and disarmament. Let us discuss one by one. First one, the Panchashila principles. Panchashila principle was signed by the India and China on 1954. President Jawaharlal Nehru signed an agreement with China for 20 long years for China's Prime Minister Zhou Enlai. You can see in the screen, right? It was the Prime Minister of China Zhou Enlai and our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. They both signed an agreement for agreement that five principles is called as Panchashila principle. They signed this because to maintain a good and cordial relationship with China. This Panchashila principle, which is agreement between India and China, contained five basic rules. First one, respecting each other's sovereignty and regional interest. Second one, non-invention of each other. Third one, non-interference in each other's internal issues. Fourth, mutual cooperation and respect. Fifth, peaceful coexistence. I'm repeating it once again. The Panchashila principles are respecting each other's sovereignty and regional interest. Means respecting each other. India should respect China, and in the same way, China should respect the sovereignty and regional interest of India. Second one, non-invention of each other without invading each other. China should not enter the border of India, and India also should not enter the border of China. Third one, non-interference in internal issues. In the matters of India's internal issues like wars, fight, China should not influence or interfere in such a matters. Fourth one, mutual cooperation and respect. Mutual respect and cooperation, which means that India should pay respect for China and as well as China should pay respect for India in all other issues, and also they should have a cordial and respectful relationship between each other, which means there should be no conflict with both the countries like India and China. They should maintain a peaceful and cordial relationship between them. Fifth one, peaceful coexistence. As I already told you that they have to maintain a cordial and good relationship between India and China. There should be no any conflicts between them or enmity between them. They should have to maintain a standard and good relationship. We have already completed the one aspect of Indian foreign policy, that is Panchashila principle. It is an agreement between India and China and contains five principles that we have already learned. Moving to the second one, that is non-aligned movement. Non-aligned movement when the world was divided into two parts after the Second World War. The democratic countries were under the USA and communist countries were under by USSR, which means Russia. Which means that when after the Second World War, the the USA and USSR are the two powerful countries. They were divided into two sections. Democratic countries were under the control of USA and the communist countries were under the control of USSR. In those days, India followed non-aligned policy to either of these blocs, which means India did not support USA or USA. It just stayed neutral. It was in the middle of this conflicts, which means that it did not support USA or it did not support USSR. Just it maintained to follow neutral. It stayed neutral. It did not support USA or USSR. Such staying neutral in both the conflicts is called as non-aligned movement. India followed this policy when the Second World War was over. The Prime Minister like Lal Bahadur Shastri and Indira Gandhi followed the principle of eye for an eye in the foreign policy. The war held in 1965 and 1971 with Pakistan were guided by this policy. Later, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee tried to reform our foreign policy and strive to have better relationship with Pakistan. Now we are moving to the fourth aspect of the Indian foreign policy, that is anti-apartheid policy. Before now going to know what is anti-apartheid, first we need to know what is apartheid. Apartheid is an attempt by a race of people of a particular skin color to subjugate another race of people of different skin color in the name of supremacy. In simple words, what we say is a discrimination based on skin color, supremacy, superiority, etc. Once again, going through the definition, apartheid is an attempt by a race of people of a particular skin color to subjugate another race of people of different skin color in the name of supremacy. We can in olden days we can see that what a supremacy who ruling the white people who were ruling were subjugating the black people. Such we need to get root out of this. For this, we started anti-apartheid policy. In Africa, Nelson Mandela and his party, African National Congress, were opposing apartheid in their country. And in Indian foreign policy, he declared that no country of the world shall practice apartheid policy, which means to ban apartheid. Now we are moving to the last aspect of Indian foreign policy, that is disarmament. Before going to know briefly, first we need to know what is disarmament. The process of elimination of specific arm step by step is called disarmament. Once again, the process of elimination of specific arm, which means weapons, step by step is called as disarmament. I hope that all have understood that, which means we need to reduce our usage of arms and weapons, which in an instance, which means that to avoid wars and fights. That's it. There is an increased competition for the production, sale, and collection of massive arms in the world. It's true, right? For in each and every sphere, there is an increased competition for the production, sale, and collection of arms in the world. Because of this production and massive production and sale of this arm, We are going to see the day to day life, wars, conflict, and many more things. In recently, we have seen that Nepal border fight between India and Nepal, right? This is all due to the what disarmament. So the process of elimination of specific arms reduces the conflict, wars, and saves thousands of more and more people. Many of the countries are worried that massive scale of arms could lead to the third world countries. Is it true? Because of such a production of massive arms would lead to the third world countries. The presence of nuclear arm make the issue more complicated. India being a peace-loving country advocates for reduction of arms qualitatively as well as quantitatively. As from the beginning, I am saying that India is a peace loving country. India is a peace loving country. As because it's tried to solve each and every problem in terms of peace motives. So, in it also aids to advocate for the reduction of arms qualitatively as well as quantitatively. It is also discussed in the 51st Constitution that Indian Article of 51st for foreign policy aims at establishing international peace and cooperation throughout the world, which means that to reduce the arms very effective way. Here we conclude the basic aspect of Indian foreign policy. In this lesson we discussed what in foreign policy, aims of foreign policy and basic aspect of foreign policy. In aspect we discussed what is Panchashila principle, non-aligned imperialism, apartheid, and as I already told that India is a peace-loving nation. The Constitution of India's Article 51 advocates for foreign policy aims at establishing international peace and security. I hope that you are all observing the Article 51 of our Constitution on the screen, right? It is written that promote international peace and security. The main aim and theory of it is to maintain peace and cordial relationship with each and every country. That means India does not interest in any kinds of wars, conflicts, and any so on. It just want a cordial relationship with all other member nations. So it states to be stay peace and also forward the message of peace to all over the world. Here we conclude our chapter, that is Indian foreign policy. Here we are going to conclude our chapter Indian foreign policy in the section of political science. Hope that all have understood my class. If you have any clarification, never hesitate to call me and clarify all your doubts. Hope that all have understood the portion. Give focus on what I have taught you. That's all. Wishing you a good day, and once again, thank you.